This area here, everybody, is an area called Takapuna. It's on the north shore of Auckland, here in New Zealand, and we're just heading towards the motorway, which takes us into the city. Take you along for a little ride if you like. Another nice day here in the Auckland region. Temperature here is in the top 20s today, pretty warm. So we're going to take the southern motorway. It'll take us over the harbour bridge. Sort of Auckland in some ways is a smaller version of Sydney in Australia. We have the north shore like they do, we have the harbour bridge, and then the main CBD is on the southern side of the harbour bridge. Our harbour bridge has a longer span, it's a greater span to cover the harbour than they do in Sydney. But our bridge is a different design. It doesn't rise as high on the arch as it does in Sydney. I've done the Sydney Harbour Bridge climb. I recommend that to anybody that gets a chance. That is a fantastic experience. The view from the top of the harbour bridge back onto the Opera House is just amazing. So here we're just going to merge in now to the traffic going south. It's a fairly typical traffic flow at the moment. Over to our left you'll see some view of the CBD and also the Auckland Sky Tower. Traffic is fairly typical for this part of the motorway, and it is flowing, which is nice. Later on in the afternoon it'll probably be just crawling along. To go over the bridge. We'll go on the outside lanes today. They're known as the Nippon clip-ons. After the bridge was built they found it was a bit small, so Japanese engineers added another 2 lanes on each side, and basically they're clipped onto the original structure of the bridge. I've had a few issues with them cracking, but they seem to be holding on fairly well still. Japanese engineering, eh? in a Japanese Toyota, going over the Japanese clip-ons. So you can see this is on the edge of the main structure of the bridge. Down the other side, going past one of the big marinas as we head towards the CBD. Heading towards the south and Manukau City, which is the southern part of Auckland City. Call that South Auckland. Do a lane change here. And we have to do a further lane change. Like all motorways, you've got to know what lane to be in, otherwise you'll end up going somewhere completely different from where you'd like to be, which can be a major pain. Good view there of the Sky Tower. It's attached to the Sky City Casino. Up top we have revolving restaurants, and it's a really good place to visit. Fantastic view of the Auckland City and the Auckland Harbour. Speed limit generally is 100 k's an hour, but on these sections of the motorway they've limited it down to 80 kilometres per hour. You won't see many people doing 80 kilometres an hour. Most people are doing 90 or 100. So once we clear this area, it's known as Spaghetti Junction, that allows you to change your direction, so you can go over to the west quite easily, continue to the south, head over towards the east as well, now that we're on this side of the harbour. If we continued on this road, it would take us all the way down to the city of Hamilton, which is probably about an hour and a half's drive from here. Further from there we can go all the way down to Wellington, which is our capital, which is at the bottom of the North Island. It's probably about a day's drive from here. So hopefully you have all got off to a good start for your 2022, and that some of you may still be on holiday hopefully. I've been back at work this week, which I'm quite happy about. I've had enough of a break. Quite happy to be back at work again, but I really do hope that 2022 is a great year for you all, and we all hope here in New Zealand that it's going to be a good year. We're expecting a pretty warm summer. I think generally the behaviour of motorists in Auckland is pretty good. feel fairly safe on the motorway. I'm only in a small car, but there are a lot of small cars on the motorway, and generally people are pretty respectful of lanes, indicating lane changes and things like that. Travelling distances between vehicles are reasonable. The condition of the road is very good. We're just passing over a viaduct called the Newmarket Viaduct. It's a very nice area of Auckland, high-end shopping area. Auckland is made up of a lot of volcanoes. Over to our left is one of the old volcanoes. Although we're sitting on a lot of volcanoes, you very, very rarely feel any earthquakes here in Auckland, which I'm happy about. I don't like earthquakes. We're just sitting at the moment on about 85 k's, which is about the flow of the traffic. Some are probably doing around 90, but this lane here seems to be fairly set at about 85 k's. On a contract with my company at the moment, which takes me away from using my e-scooter, so I'm having to do a daily commute. It's about 30 kilometers in each direction. It's not too bad, I don't mind it too much. The drive is fairly straightforward, fairly easy. Makes a little bit of a change from my usual commute, which is about a couple of kilometers, taking me about 2 minutes. This takes me about half an hour to 3/4 of an hour. This is going past one of our famous race courses called the Ellerslie Racecourse. Horse racing. Famous race course here in New Zealand. So I'll probably close this video off fairly shortly. It's fairly much just like this now until I get to my turn off, which I showed you in one of my previous videos of the eastern suburbs. I'll take one of these exits shortly that takes me over to the east. I just sort of will depend. This looks a little heavy this afternoon. I'll go a little bit further along, take another one. But thank you for joining me. Some of you will recognise this scenery if you've been a visitor to Auckland in the past, or maybe you are living in Auckland at the moment. Hoping you're having a really nice day, and hope that your weekend goes really well. I'd like to also put out a big thank you to my subscribers. Thank you very much for making the effort to actually subscribe to my little channel. I'm quite an amateur, as you well know by now, but I do enjoy sharing some of the things that I do with you all, and I'll continue to do so. The weather's good this weekend. I'm going to hopefully work on one of my bikes, do a little bit of the work that I've been putting off during the week because I've been coming to work each day. So thank you for viewing, and I'll catch you in the next one.